What's up guys, Spin Firearms here, and today we're going to be talking about this thing right here. And that's going to be the Viridian Optics RFX44, and it's a closed emitter green dot reflex sight. And we're going to talk about the benefits of it, stuff I like about it, and so on. And if you noticed, it is on my carry Glock 26, and the reason I do that is because this is one of the handguns I shoot the most. Therefore, I like changing out the optics to get different ideas, but then I always switch back to my main optic that I'm used to. But this thing right here is absolutely great. Now, the Glock 26 that I have in my hands is cleared and safety checked prior to the video, as are all firearms. But as you can see there, it is safety checked and cleared again. But before you get started, hit the like button, drop a comment down below, and subscribe. Tell me your thoughts on closed emitter optics. Do you even need an optic for everyday carry? And so on, because I don't think you do. But let's get into it. So this is from Viridian Optics, and this tends to be on the more expensive side. And we don't tend to do a lot of that over here, but if it is going to be your main carry, an optic, you can go all out for it. I have nothing against that. If you have it, go for it. And as you can see, it is in green. And what I have noticed throughout my experience with red dots and green dots is my eyes tend to do better with the green dot. I'm not sure if it's because I have astigmatism in one of my eyes. I just don't know if it's because of my vision. But green just seems to attract my eyes better. Also, that highlighter yellow on sights, that tends to attract my eyes better. And this optic, like I said, a little more on the expensive side, but I also understand why. They put a lot of technology into this thing. It's actually relatively small and thin and light for what it is. And I'm not sure you can make an enclosed emitter much smaller than this right here. But my Glock 26 I got right here is a rebuild from Glock. I got it for $400 because it's a rebuild. What that means is basically the firearm had issues, so they sent it back to Glock. Glock swapped out whatever parts necessary in order to get it back up and running again, and then they resell it. And so that's how I got it for so cheap. And that extra $100, $150 cheaper allowed me to spend a little bit more money on getting an optics ready slide for it, some suppressor height sights, and so on. Now let's get into that optic. So it's just a green dot, nothing special, but it is a very small green dot. And the smaller the dot, I like it, but also I don't want it too small. I still want it to be able to attract my eyes, but at the same time, I don't want it massive. I want my shots accurate. And that thing is just perfect. And when it comes down to the co-witness, it actually works out perfectly because that's why I have a white front suppressor height sight. Simply because the dot will basically overtake that sight. And at the same time, if it's nighttime, that dot will also glow with that tritium, and you can co-witness perfectly. And if anything goes bad with this optic, I can use those sights still perfectly. But through my experience, what I realized is I like the white outline on the front sight with a blacked out rear compared to having that orange outline. It just works out better for me. Now, I'm all about small packages, small firearms, stuff like that. Stuff that's easy to carry, comfortable to carry, and stuff like that. So when you look at this, this really isn't up my alley. I do carry closed emitters on woods pistols, like guns when I'm going hiking or going shooting in the woods, and I need something that's got some power to it and that I don't care about not concealing because I open carry in the woods and stuff like that. So this is like my third or fourth closed emitter, and I really like this thing. It has 10 different brightness settings on it. The battery on a lot of these optics are on the side of it. This one is on the top. So I think that allowed for them to make it so thin and skinny that when it's sitting on you, it's going to be about the same width, maybe even a little thinner than your pistol actually is. Now, will this fit in most holsters? Yes, if your holster is cut for an optic, this will fit. And on top of that, we can go over some of the specs. So they claim that green is better overall for the overall eye. I don't know if that's for everybody, but I know that's true for me. But I still use red dots all the time. Anyways, it has instant on with 10 different brightness settings, like I said. It uses the acro footprint, but it does come with that RMR adapter plate, which you can see right here. And it works great. Locks on very easily. 30,000 plus hours for battery life. That's about common. That's pretty common across the board. Battery type, objective lens, tools. Comes with awesome tools. Now, if you've ever been taking out an optics plate or a mounting plate or putting one back in or putting an optic in, I'm sure you've stripped a couple screws in your life because some of the tools they send out are just junk, absolute junk. They actually sent out a really nice multi-tool with it, which I was very impressed by and very happy that they sent that. And it did nothing to the screws at all. It was absolutely great. So I'm going to be using that on all my optics. Now, it's also waterproof. It weighs 48 grams, so 1.7 ounces, so it does add a little bit of weight to your carry. But if you're carrying a smaller firearm like a Glock 26, yes, it's on the heavier side a little bit compared to micro 9s and stuff like that, but at the same time, That's not going to absolutely kill you, especially if you use some lighter ammunition. Um, Limited lifetime warranty, not sure about their warranty. It's a 5 MOA dot size. Like I said, the dot size is almost perfect for this. I really like it. Dot color is green, and then the auto off is 2 minutes. So basically, the second this sits down, now you have a 2-minute clock for that battery to turn off. Therefore, you're saving power, you're saving your battery. I've never, like I said, I've had a lot of optics. I've never really had to swap out any batteries on them. I've had to swap out batteries on lights before, but never optics. With that battery life and the technology nowadays, they just last so long. But like I said, this thing was probably one of the best optics I've ever shot with. It's so easy to use. It came out factory settings wise almost dead on when it comes to accuracy. And like I said, it doesn't seem to change the overall, carryability, if that's even a word. I think I just made that up. But carryability of this firearm. It's very easy to conceal still very light, and so on. Do I prefer my other optics that aren't enclosed emitters? Yes, I do. They're a little bit lighter and so on, but I actually really like this optics. And I think I'm going to be putting it on my Glock 23, which is actually one of my favorite woods carries. Now, taking it to the range, put about 200 rounds through this thing. And honestly, what was nice about it is it did actually mitigate some of that recoil. It ran flawlessly. The weight did not throw off the reliability of this pistol. And it was very accurate. It took me a minute to get it sighted in properly. Like I said, it was almost perfect from the factory. But this thing's sighted in at 25 yards. Accurate, ready to go. Now, the thing about optics on carry pistols is I don't always think they make the most sense. Now, as you can see, some of my carry pistols do have optics on them. But majority of optics, I don't know where you guys go or what you guys do, but majority of situations I could ever get in at the places I go, they would only be up close and personal. I don't really grocery shop. My wife does a lot of that. I don't really go shopping in general. I rarely go to malls. I tend to like my own home, being outside, being in the woods, taking my kids to the park, stuff like that. I don't go to too many crowded areas, and I also don't go to bad areas. But at the same time, having an optic like this is very nice when it comes down to something like a large mall, and then you have a terrible person come in trying to harm people, and you have that distance. Now, it's not going to be the most accurate thing from super long distances, depends on how you sighted it in, but you can still get the job done with it. I actually really like this optic, like I said. Money-wise, it is expensive. But like I said, I'll probably be putting on my Glock 23. Like I said, I carry that all the time in the woods. It's one of my favorite things to carry in the woods, depending where I'm going. As long as I'm not in bear country, I carry it. And yeah, this thing just seems to fit in right with my Glock 23. But I had to do the testing on the Glock 26 because this is my main carry, and I wanted to see if it's something I would really carry. I wish it was designed for an RMR. I wish we didn't have to add in this little plate. I like the lower sitting optics. I like less material hanging off, stuff like that. But I get why they did it. It's a more secure mount, more accurate, and so on. It's just a better way to do things with that acro footprint. But like I said, it does come with that RMR adapter, which is really nice. But love this thing. I have zero complaints. It is expensive, like I said. That's probably the only complaint. Now, what I run currently on my Glock 23, my woods carry that I've been talking about, is the Sealy Bear. And as you can see, the Sealy Bear is bigger, it is wider, and the battery sits to the right side. Therefore, it has a little bit smaller window, but both are great optics. I have no complaints about either of them. They both serve their purpose. They're both great at what they do. For concealed carry, this one is much smaller. It has a little bit better technology. The battery being up top makes it less hanging out or printing or poking or whatever the case may be. But it's a great optic. Nothing against it. I'll keep you guys updated with a review, and probably doing a shooting review with that Glock 23, probably in the woods, like I said. Could be a nighttime session. We'll see. I still got to plan that woods trip, but overall, love this thing. That's the Viridian Optics RFX44. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll just let you guys see it up close and personal for a little bit. As you can see, those are your buttons for switching. And I like how they made it look very clean. It looks very, very clean. Thanks for watching, guys.